What is the second phase of Operation Epic Fury? It starts with a B-2 stealth bomber dropping a massive bunker buster bomb. The target is hidden within the rugged All-Wars mountains surrounding Tran. The location was chosen for a very specific reason. Deep beneath these mountains lies a complex underground network. Iran constructed a labyrinth of multi-layered tunnels hidden under the terrain. This massive complex was designed to conceal their most valuable military assets. Their crown jewel? A massive arsenal of ballistic missiles. The strategy is simple but deadly. Emerge from these hidden bunkers to ambush enemy jets when they least expect it. So, how do you counter a threat buried that deep? You use a highly surgical weapon designed to pierce straight through thick layers of reinforced concrete. With just a dozen of these bunker busters, the military can wipe out an entire underground missile city in a single devastating strike. But what exactly is Phase 2 of Operation Epic Fury? 7 days of sustained combat. The skies over Iran are finally quiet. But don't let the silence fool you. The United States may have achieved near-total air superiority. Phase 1 cleared the skies. Phase 2 targets Iran's strategic ballistic missiles hidden underground. These are high-tech labyrinths bored deep into solid mountain rock, shielded by hundreds of feet of earth and reinforced concrete. Drop a standard bomb here, and it wouldn't even leave a scratch. But there's a bigger problem. Iran is still not out of the fight. If the United States controls the skies, why not just send in standard fighter jets? Because while Iran's main defense network is shattered, isolated surface-to-air batteries are still hiding in the shadows. Systems like the S-300 can still strike if they catch a target at the right moment. For an F-15E Strike Eagle, even one lucky radar lock from a rogue missile could be a death sentence. In a high-stakes conflict, losing a crew and a multi-million-dollar jet is a risk the Pentagon simply won't take. When the risk is too high for conventional fighters, you bring in the big boys. Where did this long-range mission originate? The operation began thousands of miles away at Whiteman Air Force Base in Missouri. 4 B-2 Spirit stealth bombers launched for a direct round-trip mission. Their journey would stretch more than 6,000 nautical miles. To make the trip possible, the bombers relied on aerial refueling tankers. Tankers were positioned across the Atlantic Ocean and the Mediterranean Sea. But before the bombers could arrive, the airspace had to be prepared. U.S. and Allied forces launched a suppression of enemy air defenses campaign. EA-18 Growlers jammed enemy radar with intense electronic warfare. At the same time, fighter jets targeted surface-to-air missile launchers. The goal was to blind the defense grid and open a safer path. With the defenses degraded, the bombers infiltrated the airspace completely undetected. But destroying facilities buried deep underground required a very specific tactical strategy. Once over the target coordinates, the bombers opened their internal bays. The goal was to saturate the entire target area. Instead of a single massive explosion, multiple precision-guided bunker busters were deployed. Each weapon was calculated to strike at the perfect angle of impact. The strikes collapsed reinforced concrete entrances and shattered critical ventilation shafts. The objective was to trap the ballistic missiles inside the mountain itself. In total, the B-2 bombers dropped dozens of BLU-109 2,000-pound precision-guided penetrator bombs. This strike was a key component of a larger 72-hour campaign. The campaign successfully targeted nearly 200 hardened infrastructure sites. But what's the difference between the BLU-109 and the massive GBU-57 bomb? The 30,000-pound GBU-57 is designed to crush the deepest parts of a mountain. Meanwhile, weapons like the GBU-28 and GBU-31 act as precise surgical tools. But how exactly does this system work? Once released from the belly of the B-2 Spirit, the weapon begins its descent. At first, it falls just like a traditional unguided bomb. The real magic lies in the fusing system. Ground crews can equip the bomb with a nose fuse, a tail fuse, or both. If the bomb hits the ground with the nose fuse active, it detonates instantly on impact. The impact triggers the explosive conduit for a powerful surface blast. But cracking hardened targets requires a different approach. That's where the FMU-139 tail fuse comes in, programmed for a delayed detonation. Driven by gravity, the heavy bomb casing punches through reinforced concrete. Once inside, the smart fuse counts down milliseconds before triggering the 500-pound payload, destroying the target from the inside out. Considering its small $4,000 price tag, the destructive return on investment is staggering. But long before the war even began, another battle was already underway. Dark Cyber Warfare Command Center, filled with analysts monitoring digital attacks on large screens, cinematic cyber intelligence atmosphere, U.S. cyber warfare teams flooded Iranian networks with spam emails, fake calls, and digital intrusions. The goal was simple: gather as much classified information as possible. And data breaches like these don't just lead to spam and scam attempts. They can even affect things like insurance rates or lead to loan denials. That's why protecting your personal data online is more important than ever. Incogni helps safeguard your privacy by scanning data brokers and preventing them from re-uploading your personal information. So what exactly is the difference between the BLU-109 and the massive GBU-57 launching process? Step 1. The bomb deployment platform. As previously mentioned, a B-2 stealth bomber operates at extremely high altitude. When the aircraft reaches the designated strike location, the weapon system is prepared for release. Once conditions are optimal, the bomber releases the specialized weapon. The bomb itself is engineered for extreme precision. The altitude of deployment plays a crucial role in its trajectory and impact. Step 2. Targeting precision. The weapon is equipped with advanced guidance systems, using GPS and inertial navigation systems connected to military-grade satellites. Then comes Step 3. Adjusting the trajectory. Guidance data is transmitted directly to the bomb's control system. This information is sent to 4 lattice control fins located at the rear. These fins can move and adjust in real time during the descent. As the weapon falls under the force of gravity, it constantly corrects its course. These adjustments are critical for hitting the exact target. Unlike missiles, this weapon has no engines or thrusters. Instead, it relies entirely on the movement of its control fins. The high-altitude drop gives the bomb enough time to adjust its path. Distance and time are critical for maintaining precision. And finally comes the most difficult stage. Step 4. Impact and penetration. The bomb, known as the Massive Ordnance Penetrator, weighs nearly 30,000 pounds. That's roughly 14,000 kilograms of hardened steel and explosive power. When it reaches its target, the weapon strikes with immense kinetic force. The impact allows it to penetrate deep into hardened underground facilities. In some cases, it can bury itself more than 200 feet into reinforced concrete. But how did the B-2 bombers reach these hidden missile caves without being detected? As stated, most aircraft rely on rudders and elevators to control direction and stability. But the B-2 Spirit stealth bomber has none of these traditional control surfaces. Any vertical structure would reflect radar waves and expose the aircraft. That's why engineers eliminated the vertical stabilizer and rear rudder entirely. Instead, the aircraft uses split drag rudders for directional control. This system helps stabilize the aircraft while maintaining its stealth profile. But the most important feature is its composite stealth structure. The edges are built from fiberglass epoxy, while the main wing uses graphite epoxy to minimize radar reflection. Interestingly, the crew station assembly of the aircraft is made from aluminum. This material provides strength while keeping the aircraft relatively lightweight. At the base of the aircraft, The materials must withstand intense engine heat. That's why these sections are built using titanium. Titanium is a super strong but extremely expensive material. Another important material is fiberglass polyimide. This stealthy material is capable of withstanding extremely high temperatures. When all these components are labeled together, the structure becomes much clearer. Now, let's look at the $1 billion radar paint technology. Aviation experts believe it uses radar-absorbing material, also known as RAM, similar to coatings used on the F-22 Raptor and F-35 Lightning II. Moving to the belly of the beast and opening the bomb bay door reveals the weapon adapter suspension system. This internal weapon system is what makes the bomber so formidable. While the B-2 Spirit might appear compact, its payload capacity is enormous. The aircraft can carry up to 80 Mark 82 bombs. Each of these weapons weighs around 500 pounds. Altogether, that equals roughly 40,000 pounds of gravity-based weapon systems. Depending on the mission, the aircraft can switch to a rotary weapon system. This allows it to carry up to 16 AGM-158 cruise missiles, traveling nearly 230 miles before striking with precision. And remember, all our videos are created from scratch and animated by human artists. Once deployed, the missiles unfold their wings and fly toward the target.